Hello, lovely people. How are you all today? Thought I'd pop up and have a little chat about cleansing, clearing negative energies in your space, your house, your area. I've noticed it's coming up quite a lot just recently. There's lots of people asking how they can do things, how things. I've got wax on my hand, sorry. How things can be done and what you can use. So I thought I'd pop up and give you a little guide. So here we go. A lot of people refer to it as smudging. I refer to it as saging or clearing and cleansing. Smudging comes from the Native Americans, and it is a ceremony that they perform with white sage, which is quite spiritual. So I do use saging as a terminology. But it's the intention that you put in of clearing negative energies and cleansing the space around you. So we're just going to do a little run through. Remember, this is a guide, it's guidance, it's how you feel. You don't have to follow these rules and regulations, or they're not rules and regulations, but you don't have to follow my opinion. It just gives you a few more options. So we'll start off, because I'm dripping everywhere. And I had to light my incense stick to light my candle. So we'll start off incense sticks. You can use these. This one here is a white sage one. So I would, you can't see that's back to front. I do use incense sticks and I do use incense cones. Obviously, fire risk and hazard. If you are using lit, anything that's lit, especially incense sticks, not so much the cones, but everything, make sure that whatever you catch them on is heat resistant, along with the cones. White sage cones, they come with a little metal plate, but make sure you put them on a heat resistant plate and don't leave them unattended. So in incense sticks and incense cones, I do use these. I can use these. I put them on and sort of let them burn away. If you're doing a sort of in-depth house cleansing and you want to make sure that it's really well and truly clear, then you also sit with the intention. You go into, if I was doing top to bottom, I would take, for example, I would take this and I'd go into the corners, a bit like clearing a house generally. You'd go into all the corners of all the rooms, and top to bottom, push it into the corners of rooms. You can do yourself as well, waft of yourself. Try not to drop the ash on yourself. That's not good. So I do use these. You can use these. It's not as strong smelling as raw sage when you burn it. It's a bit more floral, but what it is, it's the intention. So behind this will be an intention. So this is one method that you can use. We'll talk about the intention a bit later on. So this is and using yourself with your energies. So behind this of clearing the negative energies, so you can use your incense sticks. There we go. I have to keep hold of this now. You can use your incense cones. These are very good to use to clear your space as well. Make sure they're on a heat-proof disc. You can use, some people do use raw white sage. And what you do with that is you light the end, and then it will light and you blow it out like that, and you create it to smoke like this one's doing. Some people put them on a shell and walk around. As long as you've got a heat-proof dish, there's, you don't have to have an abalone shell. But this is what the Native Americans use for smudging. So it is a sacred ceremony that they know about. We can use sage as well, but obviously we call it saging and cleansing. But the white, and it is becoming quite hard to get hold of now, because obviously everybody's getting hold of it. But you can use other things. If you are slightly hormonal, a lot of women have problems using white sage because it can make you feel quite icky. Raw sage can make you feel quite icky. It's used for translutional meditation, so it is quite heady. It can make you feel quite wheezy. So it's probably best that you don't use this if you're girly. Some are fine. I can't use this because it does make me feel quite sick. So I don't burn white sage. So white sage is another one. You can use, hang on a minute, I'm going to put that in there. Wafting it around. The other thing that you can use is Palo Santo, which is a holy wood, which does exactly the same thing as the white sage. Again, you light the end with your lighter. It will obviously flame a little bit, blow it out, and then top to tail walk around with the room. The white sage, obviously, the incense cones and the incense sticks you can put on a plate and walk away and sort of be in the house. The white sage, you know, it's probably best not to leave it smouldering, because if it tips off it can catch. And exactly the same with the Palo Santo. I wouldn't leave it out of sight, to be fair. So again, top to bottom. I always think when you're cleansing and clearing a house of negative energies, I open the windows to allow everything to escape. If I'm using any form of smoke cleansing and clearing, well, any form of clearing and cleansing, whether it's smoke, light, sound, I will then behind that have the intention. But you can also clear and cleanse a house yourself. These are all tools. So Palo Santo, the white sage, the incense sticks, everything we use is a tool, it's a backup. We can do it ourselves. Sometimes we feel as though we haven't got enough oomph to do it ourselves. Sometimes we're lacking in confidence to do it ourselves, and sometimes we feel as though it needs a little bit more. So some, you know, these, you can use them as tools. Like I said before in some of my other videos, there are just tools. It's like using a saw or a hammer for a certain job. It's exactly the same. So behind the intention, when you're burning your sage, your incense cones, even when you're sound bathing, bathing and sound cleansing, and your sprays, behind all of that in your intention should be clearing the negative energies. And out of that, out of you comes sunshine, a light. I call it my Teletubby belly. If you know what the Teletubbies are, they come from a children's program, and the sunshine comes out their belly. But we'll talk about that more as we go on. I'm just going to show you some examples. So Palo Santo is really good. It's a slightly more floral smell. It's not as potent as the white sage. Into actual one of them, the raw white sage. It smells along some lines as the incense sticks and cones, to be fair. So yeah, same sort of thing. You can make yourself a sage spray. Nice. So that's sage water. Doesn't smell like, this is stuff I've made. In fact, that's got a little bit extra in it. it's got essential oils in it, because sage water on its own smells quite beefy. It smells like Christmas dinner. Not too pungent. So you can get sage leaves and put them in. I put mine in well water, Castle Combe spring water. And then you can full moon charge it if you so wish, and then you can spray it around the house exactly the same, corners, top to bottom. Start at the bottom, start at the top, work your way down to the bottom. It's like cleaning a house. You always start at the top and work your way down out the front door. Same theory. And literally all I do is there are some bits in this one, but what I did is I literally put the sage leaves in the bottom of the water, let them infuse, put them through a tea strainer, and then put them into a little spray bottle. So that is sage water. It's very easy to do, very quick, doesn't smell, easy to do. So I showed you the Californian white sage. You can make your own sage sticks or cleansing sticks, saging sticks. This is sage from my friend's garden. I have it normally have it hanging on my magical cupboard. So you could bound that up and make your own cleansing sticks, your own saging sticks. And you could bound that up with rosemary and make your own saging sticks as well. And that would burn up exactly the same way as using the Californian white sage. So you would do the same sort of thing, make sure you have a heat-proof dish, burn the end, light the end, blow it out, smudge. Might need to work a little bit harder at blowing it continually to get a glow and a smoke, but the same sort of theory applies. As I say, they're all tools. You can also sound bath now and use sound. Now this little lovely little thing sits in my magic cupboard. And my magic cupboard doesn't, it opens when I open it, but I never leave the door open. So all I do, sometimes I'll open my cupboard, and because I can't obviously burn sage in there or spray water in there or burn a candle, what I do just to help it along is a little, and it will resonate, and you know when it's nice and clear, or I feel as though I know when it's nice and clear, because the sound will carry on. And then I would literally then just shut the door. So I might do that 3 times, 2 or 3 times, until I feel I'm quite happy with it, until the sound carries on and doesn't stop dead. So let's just show you one more time. So that sits in my cupboard. So this is my cupboard cleansing. Oh. And you can hear that just carries on nicely. So that's how I would use that in my cupboard. You could take something like that and go around the whole house. Oh, burning me incense cone. Or if you have a Tibetan singing bowl, you could take this around the whole house. She says, I can't hear because I've got my ears in. And you can go like that and take it around every room. And let it resonate into the corners. Exactly the same theory again. And let that resonate into the corners. Exactly the same theory again. You start at the top and you work your way down to the bottom of the house. You can also use candlelight, white candlelight. White is for purification. Is it not with the joss stick in? You can do if you want. I don't know where to put it. The joss stick holder's in there. My daughter made this. This is made by Jazzy. It was part of our Christmas hamper that she made, our Yule hamper. So it's lovely. And it's got rose petals in it. So Jazzy made this. So you can cleanse with white light. You can cleanse with a candle. Obviously, again, be very, very careful if you're using candles and they're lit. It's a naked flame. Just be careful where you put it. Don't put anything near it, over the top of it, and keep an eye on it the whole time. If you're using yourself, which is where we can bring on to about using ourselves to cleanse spaces, this will help you envisage. If you can't see the white light in through you, this will help you see that white light through you. So you can use yourself also to cleanse if you have your candle with you. Well, you could do it on your own, but it will just help you and aid you along that path. So the way of doing it, obviously with all of these, they're a tool. I always go with good intention of clearing the negative energies. I also work with clearing the energies myself. So I work with my body energy, and what I do is I imagine my Teletubby belly and the sunshine or the light coming out of my belly and filling wherever I am, whether or not it's in the living room or I'm starting upstairs. But I will fill every room with that Teletubby light, and it will go out through the doors, and it'll go out through the windows, it'll go out through the chimney, and it will just clearly bathe everything and push everything out. So as I'm going around, I will clean the house like that. You can sit in the middle of a room with your candle. You can sit in the middle of a room and clean a whole house downstairs. If you sit and imagine that white light coming out from you, out the top of your head, out through the whole of this space, push it all the way out, everything all the way out the doors, like someone has, if you're stood outside and someone was looking in, you could see all the light coming out all the windows, out the chimney, out the doors, and the house would be glowing, and it would be a bright light. So that's how I imagine how it works. Now for me, I need to see a Teletubby light. Some people might want to work with a candle. You might sit there and envisage the candle and use that as your backup, or use that as your aid to visualize it. So when you're using these tools, go along with that intent of clearing everything out. You can also use loud music. You can also use clapping. Go around and clap into the corners of the room with the intention of that lovely light passing everything out and pushing everything out the doors. Once you've cleansed and everything's out and you're happy with how it feels, there's no rules and regulations. There's no idea of how long it's going to take. It could take 2 or 3 attempts. It could take it once. You might feel as though you have to do it every day for a week. But I always feel, and this is just me, I always feel as though you need to replace it with something, because you will then have a clean, empty void, which is lovely. So what I then do is I actually then burn rose incense. So I'll burn one of these, or I'll get some rose petals on a charcoal disc and I will burn them. Or I'll make a rose-based spray. But roses are the smell and the incense of love and self-love, like pink quartz. I also, if you have a chance, put your pink quartz around in certain places. So if you've got 2 or 3 lumps, put it like by a front door, by a stairwell where there's a lot of high traffic area. So that's always good. Also, having a sprig of rosemary by your front door. So once you've cleansed it and cleansed it, if you put a sprig of rosemary by your front door, that's always good. Tries to keep negative energies out. So yeah, I always then fill that clear, cleansed void space with rose incense, because it then fills the space full of love and calmness, because it's very calming as well. You don't necessarily have to do red roses, you can do something else. So you could do lavender if you so wished. Everyone might be asleep, but it would still be calm. So yeah, once you fill the void, you can do it, and it doesn't matter. There's no timeline. There's no like you've got to do it once a week. You do it when you feel. You cleanse when you feel you need to. And don't forget, these are all tools. There's lots of them. Create your own sage and cleansing sticks. Use your rosemary. That's a very old way of doing things. Palo Santo if you need to. Sage water. The sage, I think was some of my friends Emma's, but you could get your sage out your Herbie drawer and make sage water and moon charge it in the full moon. And it starts with you. These are just a backup to help you along. It's like hammering a nail. You wouldn't use your bare hand. I don't know, somebody might. But it's just to help you along. So yeah, so hopefully, as I say, it comes from with you. Whenever you're cleansing and clearing, whatever you're using, you make sure that the good intention of cleansing and clearing comes with you. Open your windows, open your doors, as long as the dog don't escape or the cat run away or the kids run away. Open your doors, open your windows, and as you're going around, you work from top to bottom, like cleaning a house generally when you get a duster out. And as you're going, just imagine pushing everything out, pushing all that white light coming from you, that warm white light coming from you. It's got to be a nice warm white light. And push it all out. And then when you're finished, sit down in the bottom of the room and push it all out until you feel completely adequate, that you feel that it's good and it feels good and it feels comfortable. And then take a deep breath and gently bring it all back in, leaving it all peace and quiet and calm. If you feel the need to fill it full of red rose incense, then do, because it replaces it. But as I say, some rose quartz crystal around in certain high traffic areas will work the treat. But they're all a tool. So don't forget, the magic comes from with you. And you start with the good intentions, and everything else is just a tool. So hopefully that's helped you. As I say, don't use white sage if you're quite sensitive to it. So ladies, Be very careful, it can make you feel quite icky. So then you can do your sage water, which just smells like roast dinner. Smells a bit meaty, or your Palo Santo, or you can use, as I say, the white sage cones or the incense sticks, because the intention of clearing comes from you. So, or clapping, you can use that. So I hope it was helpful, and hopefully we'll see you all again soon. Take care.